Salida, ladies and gentlemen. Usually I would say at this point it's time for another review, but this is no real review. This new album, for a lack of a more fitting term, called Therapie wirkt by Hamburg performance collective HGichT, is something that is probably unreviewable. And I don't mean that in the same sense that I called me talking about Look Up, I'm Down There by Project Pitchfork a non-review. This is not just a gap in genres that I have trouble to cross adequately. Therapie wirkt is unlike anything I've ever heard. As vocalist Tut and Yamun said, we're not a collective, we're a reservoir of what do I know. Pretty much every track on this disc has this dark, hammering beat going on in the background, sometimes with some more instruments or electric noises laid over them. The music, if you want to call it that, is actually pretty simple. This beat is a pretty dominant thing. Rarely is it broken up like in the middle of the track Teddy's Penis, where you suddenly get this super cheap sounding piano piece out of nowhere before it goes back to the normal techno sounds again. Now, this alone would of course not make this disc or the project itself, because they released albums for years now and grew quite a fan base, as bizarre as it is. Neither is it the fact that this group had allegedly over 30 members over the past years. It's the vocals and lyrics that really fuck things up here. The lyrics, for the most part, are simply spoken and not sung. They actually sound like the vocalist heard the songs for the first time and then just started speaking over them, saying whatever came first to his mind. The lyrics are pretty much a mess of inconsistent nonsense topics. Sometimes there is a theme that is at least upheld throughout one song, but that's the maximum you get on consistency. Like the aforementioned Teddy's Penis, which is about the tattooed dick of a teddy bear, at least among other things. Or Die Heimleitung, in which various experiences with the warden of a special care home are described. To give you a little glimpse into the madness that this album is, I will simply quote 5 lines of this track for you, translated by me, of course. I'm telling the special care home warden that I dreamt I was in a special care home. The warden asks if that was a positive or a negative dream. The warden writes something down in the warden's book. I insult the warden. I light a joint in front of the warden. The warden breaks the joint through. The warden points out my reincarnation. Yeah. If you've now raised your eyebrows and have no clue what's going on in this track, let me tell you that was one of the more coherent parts on this album. It's absolutely bizarre little tales that make absolutely no sense, sometimes even presented with slightly broken grammar, but often feeling like it's just a chain of words chosen almost at random. In some way, I have to respect HGichT for what they did here. They do this kind of stuff for years now and they stick by their spiel with admirable dedication. But where I usually would recommend or disadvise from listening to an album, I honestly have no idea what to do with this. After listening to this thing for the first time, I asked myself just what the fuck did I hear? And I'm still not entirely sure what I was listening to here. This thing is an absolute fever dream of audible elements all meshed together on one disc. I have no idea how to rate this. I mean, how should one rate a piece of art that is entirely created with the idea of being kinda silly and nonsensical in the first place? Or who to recommend this to? Maybe everyone should listen to it once just for the sake of experiencing it, or maybe nobody should listen to it. Just what the sweet fuck is this thing even? I have to admit there is a very strange order and beauty in the chaos that is Therapie wirkt, but words fail me to describe it even in German adequately, and I have absolutely no idea how to translate that into another language. You just have to listen to it, have to experience it to believe and, I guess, somewhat understand it. So, as a conclusion, I guess, listen to it. It's horrible. And unless you listened to HGichT before, chances are you never heard anything like this. It's Dadaism distilled into its purest form, and for that I can hardly fault it because it seems to have perfectly achieved what it set out to do. But Jesus fucking Christ, this is a bizarre piece, and in retrospect, I guess I kinda loved it as much as I hated it. Enjoy it if you can, and if not, well, I can't really say I'm surprised. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to leave a like or just subscribe to the channel for more German music stuff. And if you have listened to this album, please, I beg you, tell me what you thought of it. You can also follow Sounds German on Facebook or Twitter, posting regularly music videos and stuff like that on there. So, yeah, thank you very much for watching again. I hope to see you next time. Salida!